Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Once again, it's Shabbat is approaching at my house as I record this, and I hope you're all doing well. This has been a great Parsha to go through, and there's so many things to cover. It's hard to know what to pick, and I think I say that every time, but still. This is the 26th Parsha. Of course, it's Shemini, which means 8th. And basically, the tabernacle, of course, has been built, and Aaron and his sons have been being consecrated over the last 7 days and about to be inaugurated for their priestly service. Okay. So it's easy, as I just did, get lost in the specifics of all these lists of animal sacrifices and parts and pieces and whatnot. And Daniel Lancaster does a good job of sort of putting it in list form so you can see it all together. You can find that in the Unrolling the Scroll study series that was done for a Torah study. And it breaks it down. It's a little easier to kind of see what's going into the sacrifices. So, and you can find those in Leviticus 9. So basically we have sacrifices or offerings for Aaron and his sons, and then we have sacrifices or offerings that are brought for the people as a whole. The list that starts with Aaron, number 1 is a calf for Aaron's sin offering, and it specifies that it's a calf for Aaron. Then also we have a bull for the priestly sin offering and a ram for the burnt offering. So that covers the Aaron and his sons. Then for the congregation of Israel, the people as a whole, number 1, we've got a male goat for sin offering, a calf for a burnt offering, a lamb for a burnt offering, an ox for a peace offering, a ram for a peace offering, a grain offering, and 7th on the list is a lamb for the daily continual burnt offering. So that's a nice list. It's still kind of long, hard to take it all in, but in this week's Portion Connections, Damian Eisner makes an interesting point and brings something to mind. That the first thing on that list is a calf. When you think no big deal, but what he pointed out was, think back, what was Aaron's last run-in with a calf? That have anything to do with a calf. If you go back to Exodus chapter 32, verses 21 through 26, you'll see. So Moshe said to Aaron, "What did these people do to make you lead them into such a terrible sin?" Aaron replied, "My Lord shouldn't be so angry. You know what these people are like, that they are determined to do evil. So they said to me, 'Make us gods to go ahead of us, because this Moshe, the man that brought us up from the land of Egypt, we don't know what has become of him.' I answered them, 'Anyone with gold, strip it off.' So they gave it to me. I threw it in the fire, and out came this calf." Amazing. When Moshe saw that the people had gotten out of control, because Aaron had allowed them to get out of control, to the derision of their enemies, Moshe stood at the entrance to the camp and shouted, "Whoever is for Adonai, come to me." All the descendants of Levi rallied around him. So Aaron, of course, like the rest of us in reality, he comes up with some pretty lame excuses and really outright lies trying to explain away what had happened. So that's the last time that Aaron and a calf had anything to do with each other, as far as I can tell. So if we go forward a year, or not quite a year, we're back at this week's Parsha. So remember the list, Leviticus 9, 5 through 6. They're bringing the list. They brought what Moshe had ordered before the tent of meeting, and the whole community approached and stood before Adonai. Moshe said, "This is what Adonai has ordered you to do, so that the glory of Adonai will appear to you." So Aaron and the people, they brought the animal and the grain offerings, all those big long list of things. They brought them to the tabernacle. But remember, as we just read in Exodus, it hasn't been very long. Not much time has elapsed since the golden calf incident. So I don't think that Moses had forgotten about the golden calf. And I'm thinking the people probably haven't forgotten about the golden calf. Aaron's sons haven't. Hashem has not forgotten about the golden calf. And I'm fairly certain that Aaron has not forgotten about it. So bear with me. So we move next to Leviticus 9:7, and Moses gets really specific about what Aaron's supposed to do. Moshe told Aaron, "Approach the altar, offer your sin offering and burnt offering, and make atonement for yourself and the people. Then present the offering of the people and make atonement for them as Adonai ordered." Sorry for flipping my page in the camera. I just can't seem to stop doing that. Anyway, so also remember, if we go back to Exodus, it's not Aaron's first run-in with the calf, and it's not the first time that Aaron has brought sacrifices or that the people have brought sacrifices. I'm kind of focused in on Aaron, but really it includes the whole nation. So it's not the first time that they've brought sacrifices. Exodus 32, 5 through 6, going back to the golden calf. On seeing this, Aaron built an altar in front of it, meaning the golden calf, and proclaimed, "Tomorrow is to be a feast for Adonai." Early the next morning they got up and offered burnt offerings and presented peace offerings. It sounds familiar. Except afterwards the people sat down to eat and drink. Then they got up to indulge in revelry. That's where things are, well, the whole thing is different, but the point is that they had done sort of a type of offering, peace offerings and things like that. They had built an altar, but it was all wrong. And of course they knew it was all wrong, and those memories had to be still fresh in their minds to some degree. So now they're presented with the authentic altar, the authentic tabernacle, and the authentic sacrifices. So what's the first sacrifice, remember, that God wants Aaron to bring? Not a golden calf, but a calf. Again, right in Aaron's face. He can't not be thinking about the golden calf incident, in my opinion. So Moses has gotten really specific, and just as a casual reading, you think, well, he's just going through the list, but, Aaron knew to do the sacrifices, he had to go up to the altar. But still, Moses tells him specifically to do that. Let me find my spot here. Forgive me. So there's a thought out there. This wasn't my original thought. Lucky for you. There's a thought out there that Moses had to tell Aaron to approach the altar because Aaron was hesitating. And of course, why? The golden calf. Some other incidents through the Bible come to mind as far as knowing that you've messed up and that knowing hasn't gone away, even if there might have been forgiveness and reconciliation with the Father, that you didn't unknow what has happened. If you look at Psalm 51, verse 5, it's a psalm that David wrote after and related to Bathsheba. And he's of course, written this psalm for the Father. And verse 5 says, "For I know my crimes, my sin confronts me all the time." And another that comes quickly to mind is Peter's denial of Yeshua. And after that, he just threw the towel in and went fishing. He didn't know what to do. So I think we can all relate to Aaron and to David and to Peter, maybe not on specific things, but just the idea and the spirit. We know that we're not always the best people and that we certainly have weak moments, and sometimes we're just lazy and stubborn and don't want to do right, or we don't do what we know we should be doing. So I think we can all relate to Aaron and David and Peter. Of course, we know that the Father has made a way for us to come back into good standing with Him through Yeshua. And I think the calf that that the Father wanted Aaron to present as an offering was not meant to humiliate him or the people. It was for atonement. If you look at verse 7 again, Moshe told Aaron, "Approach the altar, offer your sin offering and burnt offering, and make atonement for yourself and the people." That was the purpose of it, for atonement, not for humiliation of Aaron. Okay. So, again, I know we've all let the Father down. If we're honest with ourselves, we know that's true. Again, sometimes we just persist in bad habits and bad attitudes. And, of course, I'm preaching to myself primarily. But, we've all done things that we feel that we should hang our heads in shame and think that we should go back to fishing. Like, just you've dropped the ball and it can't be picked up again. So again, Father made a way for Aaron through the atonement of the calf, or David from his failings, and us through Yeshua's atoning blood. We have fellowship again with the Father. So anyway, I just want to encourage myself, you guys, don't go back fishing. We really always will feel, if we look with a critical eye, and sometimes we need to, but we'll feel that we don't measure up. We're not up to the task. Specifically regarding the Messianic faith as well. But I want to say that you're not here by accident. You didn't just fall into this. And there's always people that just seek things that are different, but I think the folks that might be listening to me, that's not why you're part of the Messianic faith and part of the Messianic movement. You had to say yes to the Father at some point, and the Father had to ask you for you to say yes. So I just want to rebuild your determination and faith to stay strong in the faith, and especially as we're by ourselves a lot and we're not able to be physically with each other, to encourage each other, to see each other's smiling faces, that just to encourage you to continue in your faith, and let's try to lift each other up where we can and how we can. So I'm jumping all over the place. I'm not following the script at all, I think. So give me another moment. So let's see here. Yeah, let's keep saying yes to the Father. I think that's the point I wanted to make. Another interesting thing, I guess I could leave it there, and there's lots and lots of stuff in this Parsha. But another neat thing is that in this Parsha is the exact center of the Torah. If you had one guy at the beginning and one guy at the end of the Torah, and you counted backwards and forwards, you would meet in the middle perfectly at Leviticus 10:16. So I'll read that verse. Then Moshe carefully investigated what had happened to the goat of the sin offering and discovered that it had been burned up. He became angry with Eleazar and Ithamar, the remaining sons of Aaron, and asked, and so that's the end of that verse. So in Hebrew, the word drash means to search. And right here, if we were looking at it in Hebrew, it's repeated in this verse at the exact center of the Torah. It's derosh, derash, which literally means searching, and he searched. And it's just a good reminder for us to fulfill the command of searching out the Torah. And remember in Deuteronomy 6:7, and you are to teach them carefully to your children. You are to talk about them when you sit at home, when you are traveling on the road, when you lie down, and when you get up. So a lot of us have a lot of time on our hands lately, and some of us are really actually busier than ever. But whatever the circumstances, whatever's happening in the world, our world and around the world, let's just continue to do our best to search out the Torah, searching for the Father, and also encourage each other in our faith. So finally, I just pray that the Father would give us opportunities to show His loving kindness and also His mercy, that we, even when we're separated from people, somehow, some way, the Father will give us a way to continue to do mitzvah and lift each other up, and also lift Him up. So anyway, Shabbat Shalom and Shavua Tov. I hope you have a great week.